Sinjuri, nsemmilkom nilqakom għal programm ieħor ta' Flusek. Illum ser nibdew sabiex nitkellmu fuq ir-riżultati finanzjarji tal-kumpanija GO PLC. Fit-tieni parti tal-programm mbagħad ser niddiskutu l-attività fuq il-Borża ta' Malta matul l-ewwel kwarta din is-sena. Iż-żewġ mistiedna tagħna huma Nikhil Patil u Simon Zammit. Ser nibdew sabiex nagħmlu kollegament dirett mal-kap eżekuttiv tal-GO PLC, Nikhil Patil. Nikhil, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us today.
It's great to be back.
I was just informing our viewers that we're going to discuss the financial results of GO of 2023. But before we start with discussing the results, maybe you can give us some highlights from the past year.
Absolutely. It's been another fantastic year at GO Group. As you know, as GO Group, we have quite a few subsidiaries that span Malta and Cyprus. Some of the key highlights being that revenue and profits increased, but more importantly, we also increased the number of customers we serve in Malta and Cyprus. We have almost covered 80% of Malta with fiber to the home, and we plan to finish providing fiber to almost every home in Malta by 2024. And also in Cyprus, we achieved more than 10% share in mobile subscriber base. 3 years ago, we only had a 2% market share. So it has been phenomenal growth across the board. Last but not least, we had a milestone transaction with BMIT, where GO sold its tower assets to BMIT. Here's furthering BMIT's ambition to be one of the leading infrastructure companies in Malta.
So now to proceed to the financial results, group revenue in 2023 increased by nearly 10% compared to the previous year, 2022, reaching nearly 236 million euros. How was this achieved?
It has been a record year for us. I think this is the highest revenues GO Group has ever recorded. Essentially, revenue grew by around 21 million, and the growth came in from 3 factors. One, we welcomed more customers in Malta and Cyprus. We increased the amount of revenue we get from every customer by providing new value-added products and services. As you know, we have our television channel Talkis, and we also are providing security services to all our customers. Last but not least, GO has been actively investing through GO Ventures into auxiliary subsidiaries like Sense, CyberShift, which added further 2 million of revenues to the group.
In fact, higher revenue resulted in higher profits, reaching 15.5 million euros. What factors contributed to this increase?
I think the first factor that contributed to this increase was the record growth in revenue. Around 21 million translated into gross profits. We had an increase in cost base of around 2 million, plus of course increased cost of interest due to the increase in interest rates and taxes resulted into an overall profit increase of 3.3 million over 2022.
So, and maybe you can elaborate on the growth in revenue across the different segments of the company?
Absolutely. I think the revenue growth is split evenly between Malta and Cyprus. In Malta, core telecoms operations, which is serving our customers with their telecom needs, grew by around 2.3 million. Our data center business, which is aka BMIT, had also a growth of 2.4 million. And then there was incremental revenue coming in for the new acquisitions that GO Group made, primarily Sense, CyberShift, and Connected Care. When you look at Cyprus, it's been a phenomenal growth story. We achieved 12% growth in our telecom services. We roughly added 52% new mobile subscribers. And our market share, as I said before, grew to around 10% from 2% over the last 3.5 years.
When you look at 2023, how have the costs increased across the group?
Absolutely. As you know, we all suffer from from increased inflation, and Go Group is always trying to manage and keep its operating cost base flat. Last year, we did have a cost increase of around 14.7 million. Primarily, most of that cost increase came from increased cost of sales, from serving 49,000 new customers in Cyprus, but also increased revenues in Malta. If you look at our operating costs, or what we call group administrative expenses, they increased by around 2.2 million over 2022. But most of these cost increases were one-off related to restructuring and transaction costs linked to the tower transaction. So overall, we have done a fantastic job of managing our administrative cost base and keeping it flat during times of high inflation.
Okay. And you mentioned, you referred to it earlier, but how have the subsidiaries of the group performed in the past year, 2023?
So as I said, it's impressive to run through all the list of subsidiaries we have. So let me start off with BMIT. BMIT registered a large 11% increase in revenue, registered about 28.7 million revenue. It came from consolidating its market-leading position as the #1 data center operations in Malta. There was strong growth in cloud and managed services. It also acquired the passive tower network of Go, and has transformed itself further into a leading infrastructure company. When I turn to CableNet revenues reached around 74.4 million, so close to around 30-35% of group revenues. It's a 16% increase over 2022. There was 30% increase in the subscriber base. Today, it's the fastest growing mobile provider in Cyprus, and we have around 142,000 subscribers in Cyprus. Sense is a company we acquired a majority stake in 2022. Coming out of COVID years, it has got a very healthy pipeline of international projects, and it has almost grown its revenue by 50%. Last but not least is CyberSift, which is our investment in providing security services to our B2B customers. Once again, it added about 1 million of revenue to our group reserves. We also had an interesting exit. As you know, we also have a venture capital arm which invests in startups. And after 3.5 years of investing, we achieved our first partial exit in an investment in Airalo. We have invested around 250,000, divested about half our business, and we divested at a close to 11x return on investment. And we still have half our stake in the company. So that's an overview of all the subsidiaries we have.
The company has continued to invest, as you highlighted, in various ways. Has the debt funding changed during 2023 as a result?
There is a slight increase in debt, but overall, debt has remained flat while achieving all the growth and the investments. If you look at net financial debt, it remained very much at the same levels as 2022. In 2022, it was around 165 million. In 2023, it reached around 169 million.
Okay. The board of directors is recommending for the approval of shareholders the payment of a final net dividend of 5 cents. How did the total dividend compare to previous years?
Absolutely. At Go, the board and management always is deciding between investing for long-term returns and providing short-term returns, which is dividends. Last year, the final dividend we announced was 5 cents. So the total dividend for the year came to around 12 cents. It is around 3 cents lower compared to 2022. However, we also offered a 15-cent special dividend on the proceeds of a sale of towers to Go and BMIT. So if you look at it in cash terms, the dividend that was offered was 12 cents plus a 15-cent special dividend, which is around 27 cents. Over the last 5 years, while growing its revenue, while investing in things like fiber network and profits, Go Group has also distributed close to 111 million euros in dividends. It's a rare example of a company that is investing for growth at the same time has returned almost 1/3 of its market cap back to shareholders in dividends over the last 5 years.
Nikhil, what is the company's outlook for 2024, this year and beyond?
Absolutely. I think 2024, will continue to live our purpose, which is to drive a digital Malta where no one is left behind. I think the key is to invest in digital Malta. Our aim is to finish rollout of our fiber to the home project, which means when I say every, more than 95% of homes in Malta will enjoy fiber to the home. We'll probably be the first country in Europe to have that level of coverage for fiber to the home. We, of course, plan to become a sustainable organization. We are moving into our net zero campus where all energy will be provided from solar at Zaytoon. We have just closed our investment in AQS, which is a leading provider of solar energy solutions in Malta. We intend to work towards reducing our greenhouse gases by 42% by 2030. Of course, we'll continue to invest in Cyprus and continue that phenomenal growth that we have experienced in 2023. Last but not least, all this is possible because we continue to invest in making Go a great place to work, learn, and grow.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for being with us today. I augur you and the company continued success.
Thank you for having me over. Have a good day.
Same to you. Se nagħmlu waqfa qasira ta' ftit minuti għal riklami b'qgħu magħna.